rugged battles to come soon after, and we'll talk about that as the night develops. Tim Boulard to jump center for the Aggies, and jumping center for the Wildcats is Travis Elliott. And there's the tip, and we are underway. Tim Boulard wins another tip. Yeah. Newsflash.
Surprise, yeah.
Zone defense for Bethune-Cookman. It's the beginning of a 12-game road trip for the Wildcats. Boulard inside, muscles his way to the basket and misses. Rebound to Kennard, who's third in the MEAC in assists, 4.3 a game. Usually he comes off the bench, but he's getting a start tonight. Aggies open man-to-man defense. That's trapped. Mullings on him. Usually Mullings gets the toughest defensive assignment of the perimeter players.
I think Bethune-Cookman's going to take their time.
Try to shorten the game, run some clock, huh? 3 on the way and good by Michael Trapp. There's the officials tonight, Eric Curry, Carr, and Stigliano. And Bethune-Cookman in the dark uniforms, the Aggies in the crimson and white at home tonight. Get it inside to Napawe. They triple team him out of the zone. Back out to the perimeter, into Boulard, out to Ross Miller. Really sharing ball are the Aggies, and Edwards drains it through.
Really great movement by the Aggies there. Everybody touched ball. Ball went inside twice to Chili Napawe and Simbular and DK Eldridge.
That was just a 2. Yeah, not a 3, but a 2.
We'll take it, though.
And the Aggies trail by 1. Michael Trapp with basketball. And he goes down to baseline and is cut off by K. Eldridge. Count is on. Kennard drives, gets down amongst the trees, brings it back up for a short jumper. No good. Rebound to Boulard. Ross Miller wants to get the Aggies into transition. Eldridge on the wing, looking inside. Aggies will have to work against the zone. The Aggies outscored the Miners 10-2 in fast break points against UTEP on Saturday. When you looked at all stats on the box score, that was the one real advantage for NSU, was the buckets they got in transition against UTEP.
Yeah, and I know that's one thing the UTEP Miners trained hard to not give up. So just an indication of how well the Aggies played.
Foul goes against Elliott. That's the first foul of the game. And we noticed against Northern Colorado, the Aggies were really good in transition. And that was the difference in that game. That's when they built that last big lead they had. That they got a little hairy in the end, but they lived off that lead.
We saw Simbular do something there Jeff rarely does. He tried to catch the ball with one hand and got deflected out of bounds. Usually, he's pretty good about not dropping the ball and catching with 2 hands, but that time he just sort of lost his concentration, I think.
So that was the first turnover of the game. And Wildcats against the New Mexico State man-to-man defense.
Well, we're seeing all kinds of different offensive sets to Bethune-Cookman, and all of them seem to have to do with taking their time and running some offense.
Little runner, Boulard, kick, Corral rebound. Wildcats get it. Third shot for the Wildcats. Napawe send that one out into the corner, and it chased down by Ross Miller. Eldridge for 3 this time, and he hit. Aggies have the lead, and we've got a timeout for the Wildcats. So Eldridge with a long 2 in the corner and a 3 from the wing, and New Mexico State by 2.
And Gravel Craig, the young Bethune-Cookman coach, wasn't happy about that, as we see in New Mexico.
Yes.
You might as well stop in Hobbs on the way, I guess.
It is kind of on the way.
Yeah.
A bunch of different ways to get there. I imagine he prefers the air, though. Kennard handling ball for Bethune-Cookman. They're down a guard.
But now, Jeff, this is the old, I'll show my age here, but this is the old St. Joseph delay game. Sort of a classic delay game. The teams would use their own clock, but you almost never see it anymore with a 35-second clock. So it's unusual that a team would start in a delay game.
Just trying to shorten the game, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Just trying to play conservatively against a bigger Aggie team.
As I mentioned, the Wildcats on a 12-game road trip. They face Colorado State on the road next. Here's a travel on the way to the basket for Casey Ross Miller. That's turnover number 2 for New Mexico State. Aggies by 2.
Well, that's more turnovers than they had the entire Northern Colorado game. And really a great bright spot for the Aggies so far this year, Jeff. Casey Ross Miller from Grand Prairie, Texas, right next to Dallas.
Michael Trapp That's Jackson, their leading rebounder.
And now it's just a simple three-man weave handoff before. It looks like they're taking 15 or 20 seconds off the clock every time before they even look to score.
Down to 9 on the shot clock. Sense of urgency for Kennard as he drives underneath and kicks. This line jumper short. Bular there for the rebound. Eldred was going to the basket thinking alley-oop. Instead, they're going to the Poway. He scores. He's fouled. It counts. He'll go to the line. Mullings with the assist.
Jeff, it's really impressive how willing the Aggies are to share the ball.
All right, 15-55.
To beat with, if he's got a few NCAA tournaments under his belt.
Chile in the Poway trying to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. What do you think of the Wildcat approach in this game? Really, you've talked about the delay tactics. Well, two different approaches, huh?
Yeah, they seem to be trying two different delay games to start the offense. Here's a third. Well, now they're back to the three-man weave.
And the Aggies just staying in front of them. Not really going out and wearing themselves out trying to pressure them. Just play some solid man-to-man defense off of a screen, popping out his trap. They wanted to get him a three. Still 10 on the shot clock. Going through the lane on his way to the bucket is found and the turnover.
Well, there were little steps, but little steps count.
Kevin Aronis in. Daniel Mullings will take a seat for Mexico State. There's a look at Kevin. Aronis had 8 against the Miners.
Yeah, I was going to say he played well in El Paso.
Back in that 2-3 zone. Aronis, a three-point artist. No mystery to why he's in the game at this juncture. Zone buster. Then they go inside to Poway, and he misses the shot, but it's out of bounds to New Mexico State.
Well, that was Ronaldo Dixon sort of keeping things alive and forcing the Bethune-Cookman players to knock it out of bounds.
Marvin Menzies looks on from the sideline as the Aggies throw it in. New Mexico State averaging 76 points a game as the Aggies turn it over for the third time.
Now, I hope Casey Rossman doesn't make me take back every good thing I've said about him, but the Aggies just lost concentration again there. It was under no defensive pressure, just sort of tossed the ball out of bounds.
Aggies averaging 14 turnovers a game, and in turnover margin, negative 3.2 on the year. Brown with the bucket for the Wildcats. And it's a three-point New Mexico State.
Even the zone defense, Jeff, is sort of a soft pressure. The Aggies are turning down shots they normally take.
Nice feed, threading one inside to Eldred. He'll go to the free throw line.
Boy, I really like this DK Eldred, who's in his first year for the Aggies. Tough and aggressive, and just has a real hunger for taking it at the basket. Once you get it under the basket, he's much smaller than these guys. Just aggressively goes at the basket and gets the foul.
Third foul against the Wildcats. DK a 70% free throw shooter. Now, when you get packed in 2-3 zone, you're going to have to be patient. You know that you don't want to just crank up the first outside look you got, but he does have some sharpshooters in it.
That's right. But what's so impressive about Marv Menzies' team this year, Jeff, is how well they share the ball. They just really an unselfish group, and I think it's a big reason why they're 5-1 at this point.
Well, for lack of a better word, they really seem to understand themselves. So, why take a shot before Sim gets a touch?
That's right.
Take a shot before Dan Mullings gets a touch.
That's right.
There's the stats early on as the Aggies shooting good from the floor. Bethune-Cookman struggling. And challenging, the big guy was Brown. He scores. It's a 2-point game. There's Kevin Aronis for three. Leaves it short. Sim for the rebound. Lost it out of bounds. He was whacked on the left side of the ear, it looks like. He's used to guys getting physical with him.
Well, just to get to his ears a long way, Jeff. That's 7'5". His ears probably at 7'2".
Had Jackson draped on him a little bit. Inadvertent contact. The officials let him play on. So Bethune-Cookman's cut it to 2, and they have the ball. That's Taylor over Bular. Took it to him and couldn't get it to go. Too high off the glass. Aggies in transition. Dixon with a heck of a grab, and then he fumbled it out of bounds. Well, when he initially corralled it, I thought, what a catch, and then he couldn't maintain it.
Yeah, there were two sort of erratic passes on the way down the floor. One from Trevon Landry, who's checked in the game. Mullins couldn't quite control it at the end.
Looks like the Aggies are going to slap on a little pressure here. Maybe speed Bethune-Cookman up a little. Maybe speed themselves up a little.
I imagine that's probably both would be good for the Aggies here.
Troy Simmons with the basketball, 6'1" junior from Lehigh Acres, Florida. As I mentioned early on, they're from Daytona Beach, Florida. 2 Florida natives on the roster. Jumper on the way and good from Brown, and we're tied at 9. Brown with 6 to lead BCU. Nice pass in Dixon, and he finishes. Aggies by 2.
This is the continuation of the same Ronaldo Dixon story. I have gotten tired of it, though. He's just always pretty effective in there and plays smart and just got the ball in the scoring position, made the easy shots.
Ronaldo hitting 50% from floor this year. And foul and a moving screen against BCU. Brown, their leading scorer, just picked up his 2nd personal foul. It's the 4th team foul against the Wildcats. NMSU's not yet been charged with a foul. Into Dixon, baby hook, good.
Well, the defense worked so hard to control Sim Boular that Dixon keeps sneaking open.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but of the Aggie post players, does Dixon possess the best post moves?
Well, I think he's the quickest of the bunch. And so it gives him a really different look when you've got the man mountain of Sim Boular and the strong and quick Chili Powell, as we see the Bethune-Cookman turn the ball over. So this gives him a totally different look. He's a completely different player than the guys he replaces. And so I think that they're used to seeing one thing, and here comes Ronaldo Dixon coming through. Now we've got Remy Berry coming in, which gives him another different look.
Berry in for Dixon. There's a good look at the junior.
And I know I've said this all year, Jeff, is that Ronaldo Dixon would be starting for most teams in the West.
High post, Remy Berry. In Sim. Mulling slashes. Remy hustling for it. Jackson out of there with ball. Wildcats down 4. 11:36 to play in the opening half. Both teams averaging 76 points a game. Little foul on the drive. And that's the first whistle against Mexico State. And we have a media timeout. 11:28 to play in the first half. New Mexico State 13. And
from our crack crew.
Wildcat basketball. Landry, Aronis, Mullings, Berry, and Boular for New Mexico State. Simmons handling the basketball for the Wildcats. Footer over Sim is good. And it's a 2-point New Mexico State lead. Wildcat shooting 50%. The Aggies are hitting 55% from floor. Landry running the point for the Aggies. Mullings from deep. That's 2-pointer, and he missed it.
One surprised me a little bit. There was the first time this half that the Aggies have sort of gone one-on-one to get a basket.
That wasn't a three-point attempt, but Mullings from beyond the three-point line this year at about 22%. Mullings D'ing up out there. Jackson at the top of the circle loses it. Mullings got his hands on it. Berry to Mullings. Mullings to Aronis. Landry with it, and he'll settle things down. Probably a good decision as the Aggies didn't get anything easy out of transition. Nice move by Berry. Draws the foul and go to the free throw line.
Really great effort by Daniel Mullins on the other end. He sort of dove on the floor to knock it away, jump back up to lead the fast break. And there's Remy Berry, a little bit too far under the basket, but draws foul.
Malik Jackson picks up the foul. That's number 5 against the Wildcats. Berry this year at the free throw line, 77%. Career high 18 points against Hawaii earlier. 6'8" junior from Paris, France. Landry is going out of the game, and Casey Ross Miller enters your picture and ball game as you get a look at the junior from Paris.
Paris, France, not Paris, Texas.
Aggie by 4. That looks like Mullings is trying to bring some energy on defensive end for the Aggies and get
well, he always
going.
does. And look at him. He's all over Mike Trapp.
Simmons, top of the circle, right side. It goes to Trapp, who has Mullings on him. One-handed pass to Dempster. Dempster drives. Dempster in the paint, banks it up. It goes. He's fouled. Counts. He'll go to the line. 6'7" sophomore from Philadelphia, averages just under 7 a game.
I'll watch Alan Dempster take ball right at Sindelar and goes over Remy Berry as well. Just sort of a gutsy play by the sophomore from Philadelphia. He doesn't look very big. He's only 6'7". That's next to Sindelar. He's got those Kevin Video goggles there.
Imagine those prescription, huh? So sophomore from Philadelphia. 83% free throw shooter. And missed it. The jinx. And it's New Mexico State by 2. Having trouble shaking the Wildcats in the early going. Through Boular's hands, another turnover for the Aggies, 5th.
Well, something else you don't see much from Sim is that one hit in both hands, and he did not handle the ball. Pass came a little hard, but he's got to catch that one, and he almost always does.
That one would have registered in the radar gun. And most baseball ballparks, it had a little mustard on it. And scoring inside is Elliott.
Kind of fearless there, Travis Elliott from Fort Lauderdale, going right at Sindelar. Doesn't he know he's 7'5"?
They have been taking it at him. The game's tied at 15. Mullings on the right wing. Eldridge goes baseline, and a foul on the way down to baseline. That's number 6 against BCU, so no free throws here.
LDK Eldridge once again on sort of attack mode, which is a great mode for him to be on. He's very similar to Mullings in a lot of ways. Mullings, I think, is an inch taller, but just very aggressive with the ball, can handle it with either hand.
Napowi in for Boular. Ross Miller feeling it from the 3, missed it. Rebound inked down by Dempster.
Well, we're not El Paso anymore. It's a whole new game, Jeff.
Ross Miller's average up to 10.2 points a game and coming in hitting 45% of his threes. He went 3 for 4 from the 3-point line Saturday in El Paso. A little treble on the dish on Elliott. Good idea. Unselfish.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job, Bethany Cookman and Will Craig, coach, setting the tempo early by not panicking and controlling the ball. And look at them, they've hung right in here with a very good New Mexico State Aggies team.
Aggies haven't scored a field goal in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Soon Cookman with a packed-in zone, giving the Aggies some problems. Get into Dixon, wrestled it away, and the lefty layup gives the Aggies the lead.
He's just so versatile there. A nice left-handed move by Ronaldo Dixon.
Ronaldo averaging 4.5 points per game. His career high 13 against Texas State a year ago. And we see the Wildcats attack the basket. Banker too high, and the putback good. Elliott laid it up and in.
Well, Travis Elliott has played a terrific game so far with Bethune Cookman. He was at the right place at the right time there.
Game tied at 17. We've been tied at 9, 15, and 17. Third tie of the game.
But if this is an example of just how difficult it is to coach in Division I after 2 big wins against UTEP.
Simmons, after the steal, missed the layup. It was challenged. Ross Miller to Mullings to the basket. He scores. He's fouled. It counts.
But yeah, after two very emotional games and great wins against UTEP and a very good Northern Colorado team, it's natural for the Aggies to have a little bit of a letdown. Thompson, three of the great coaches in the 1970s and 80s into the 90s. John Cheney was a Temple coach for many years. He's a Bethune-Cookman graduate and grew up in Florida.
Mullings free throw short, tipped it back out as Dixon kept it alive. The little things.
He does so many little things. Now there's no stat for that, but he gets his hand out and the Aggies recover the ball. So we'll just keep giving him props, as the players like to say. Keep talking about the good thing that Ronaldo Dixon does on the court. I'm watching Ronaldo. Don't worry, he didn't show up on the stat sheet.
They double Ronaldo. Mullings for three. And the rebound pulled down by Jackson. It's a 2-point Aggie lead. The Wildcats have it. Owens off the bench. Missed badly on the drive. Eldridge bringing it the other way. Wildcats hit back. Eldridge forces the issue and go to the free throw line. 2 shots. Going to be a 2-shot foul.
There's once again DK Eldridge, fearless going to the bucket.
They didn't call it on Dester. They called it on Simmons. That's his first. 8th foul against BCU. The Aggies in the 1-and-1. Eldridge shooting 2. Kevin Aronis in. Aggies haven't done much from the perimeter. 1 for 4 on 3-point shooting. But they are shooting 50% from the floor for the game. There's Eldridge's numbers. The average is 10 a game. He's already got 8. 8 of the Aggies 21. He's the high scorer in the game. Aggies will try to press the Wildcats. Generally 4 guards start for the Wildcats. You think they will handle the ball pretty well?
Yeah, they didn't seem too bothered by it. I have to say this, Gravel Craig, who's a great player at Cleveland State, is a young coach for Bethune-Cookman. He's got them completely and utterly under control.
Layup Jackson.
And they don't seem to be afraid of the Aggies at all. They must not realize that the Aggies have beaten UTEP twice.
They're getting good shots. Simmons out on Aronis. Eldridge has had the hot hand. Losing it is Napawe and saves it in but to Simmons, and another Aggie turnover. That's number 7. So Simmons will slow it up at midcourt. Aggies in his zone.
The Aggies in the 2-3 here, which puts a little pressure on Kevin Aronis, who's not quite big enough to play down low, but certainly tough enough and strong enough.
Took over Napawe, no good from Dempster. Here come the Aggies trying to get something going in transition. Aronis on the trail. Eldridge saves it in. The bench goes tumbling.
Jeff, I want to say something about Ronaldo Dixon. Now, just down at the other end, he beats Chile and Napawe and everybody else at rebound, and then beats Chile down the floor by about 10 feet. And I wonder if Chile Napawe is not 100% yet. His leg is still bothering him from last year. If he still worked himself into shape. But on that last play, Ronaldo got the rebound and was 10 feet behind Chile and then beat him by 10 feet at the other end of the floor.
Buavat's into the game for the Aggies, and taking a seat is Eldred after crashing into the bench, and he's rubbing his knee, but it looks like he's okay. They get it into Napawe. Napawe's hook no good. Rebound pulled down by Dempster. Aggies by 2. Wildcats have the ball. So Aronis, Buavats, and Ross Miller. Napawe and Dixon, the 5 on the floor for Marvin Menzie Ball Club. That's Jackson, 18 on the shot clock. Splits top of the zone, and the floater's good. And we're tied at 21. 4th time we've been tied here in the first half. Buavats running the baseline. Marvin Menzie shall swing it. They get it down to Napawe. Aronis to the basket, but he missed. Ball bandied about and up with a Dixon. No fresh shot clock. Buavats calling for it. Launches a 3. It's a little long. And the rebound on the floor and a foul whistled against Napawa.
Well, he looked like his old self there.
Just one free throw tonight for the Wildcats. They're 0 for 1. Napawa at 61% for the foul line this year, shooting 1-1. 9 fouls against the Wildcats. Bethune-Cookman led it 3-2. Hasn't led it since, but it's been tight. 4 ties. Just one lead change. (23-21). The Aggies lead it. 3:58 play in the first half. So Napawa hits both ends of free throw. The Aggies are 8 for 10 shooting free throws here in the first half. Rebounds almost even, 12-11 in favor of the Aggies.
I hear Bethune-Cookman spreading the floor again.
Jackson drives and a foul. That's a third against New Mexico State. So no free throws for the Wildcats.
But you know, Bethune-Cookman's playing pretty much just one senior in the lineup most of the time, and it's just I think the future bodes well for this Bethune-Cookman team.
Fresh shot clock as they throw it in. That's Taylor. Simmons with it. Feeds it inside, back to the basket to Elliott on the pallet. Can't do anything with it, kicks it back. Man-to-man defense for New Mexico. They tried zone for a possession or two. Screen, Miller goes down. Here's a three, top of the circle, good from Taylor. Second lead for BCU, 24-23. Their last lead, 17-51. And Poway gives the Aggies the lead right back.
Well, that's the Chile Poway we know. You know, I don't want to be critical of him, Jeff. He's such a great player for the Aggies, but he just doesn't look like he's as active as he was a year ago. And I wonder if the leg is still bothering him, or if he's just still getting in shape.
Simmons leaves it behind him for a three, and Jackson drills it. Wildcat 3 for 3 from beyond the three-point line, and they lead New Mexico State by 2. Buomas for 3. That one won't go down. So Marvin Menzie looking for someone to hit a three over that zone. The Aggies 1 for 7 from beyond the three-point line. It was Eldridge that hit the three. We haven't seen him since he ran into the bench, but he's waiting to check in. Two on the shot clock. 1:48 to play in the half. They get it inside. Poway lays it up and in. Game tied at 27. 1:37 to play in the half, and a timeout for the Wildcats. They've had virtually none here in the first half.
Yeah, they're working against a pretty quick team here, but also a team that refuses to get into a running game. Now we see the Aggies in a 1-2-2 zone.
Mullings pops out to provide some pressure on Simmons. 1:26 to play in the half. And tied at 27. Popping out is Taylor, and it's knocked away. Here's a transition opportunity. And a traveling call. Whistled against Eldridge as he took a hot dribble around half court.
Yeah, he caught the ball and tried to sort of place it as he was running. It was a close one. I might not have called that, but I'm an Aggie fan, Jeff, so why would they have the ref?
Good point. Here it is again, and they're calling that the treble right there.
And we might have traveled twice.
Taylor for three, no good. Rebound to Napawa. Game's knotted at 27. 1:03 to play until halftime. Mullings skips it over to Eldridge. He's trying to show some urgency, whipping it around that zone a little faster than they had. Eldridge into Sim. Sim posting up down low. It goes for the big guy, and the Aggies lead it by 2. That's the first bucket for Bular. 42 seconds to play until halftime. There's about 11 or 12 second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Landry and Mullings out top for New Mexico State. Mullings picking up Simmons. Set a screen. Into the right corner. That's Jackson. And he drains it again. 1 point. Bethune-Cookman lead. 18 seconds to play until halftime. And Marvin Menzies play at 11. And then be another game at 1 point.
Well, maybe just walk over to the Pan Am and work off Turkey.
And the gravy. Landry for three. He hits a big three for New Mexico State. There's the horn.
Well, pretty good plan by Marvin Menzies, I'd say.
Got a three-pointer from Trevon Landry. Landry, the 6'1" freshman.
And we'll see if Aggies can come out with a little more purpose defensively here.
4 lead changes in the first half. Well, actually 5 if you count the one at 3-2. So 5 different times the lead changed hands. And several ties in the first half. The Wildcats get it first here in the second half, and it does look like NMSU trying to put on just a little more offensive pressure when they're running their offense out high. Nard has the pass knocked away by Mullings, but it'll stay with Bethune-Cookman. There's 14 on the shot clock.
And Daniel Mullings, it's like he's got 4 arms. He's such a terrific defender, so active defensively.
Aggies by 2. Bethune-Cookman with the ball down 2. Eldridge really playing defense out on the perimeter. Driving is Jackson. Floater, no good. Rebound tipped out, but up with it to Dempster. Dempster over Bular, banks it up and in, and we're tied at 32.
Well, now, for the last year and a half, Jeff, we've seen people look at Sindelar and turn the other way. Yes, they could be intimidated by size, but Bethune-Cookman from Daytona Beach, Florida, hasn't got that message yet.
Around the zone, they move the ball quickly. Eldridge puts it on the floor, and they swing it back right side. Seeing more ball reversal here in the second half. They double down on Chalitze. Here's Daniel Mullings with the left hand. It won't drop for him. Rebound to Jackson. Out of bounds, but a foul. And it's against Jackson of Bethune-Cookman. That's his second foul. He has 10 points in the game. And the Aggies have it in a tie ball game, 32-all. Ross Miller penetrates, gets to the bucket, and draws a foul, and he'll shoot free throws. Big advantage for the Aggies there, as they're hitting 80% on 8 of 10 free throw shooting. Just 1 free throw for Bethune-Cookman in the first half.
And that was the difference. You know, Bethune-Cookman had 2 more field goals than the Aggies in the first half. And only for the Aggies getting to the free throw line a lot more. Is there any kind of Aggie lead?
Aggies averaging nearly 30 free throws a game. They're getting to the line. They're hitting 67% over the course of the season. Better tonight. As tonight, the Aggies are now 10 of 12 from the free throw line. That's Jackson. Eldridge playing D on him. Definitely a little more effort on defense in terms of when they run their offense out here between the circles.
I think that's right. But again, Bethune-Cookman doesn't seem to be the least bit rattled. This is a freshman with the ball here.
Kennard dishes into the paint. Napawe knocks away. Bular pulls it out of there. Out of bounds. It'll go to New Mexico State. So the Aggies by 2 with 18-10 and counting to play. As you get a good look at Coach Craig, who's come in with a good game plan tonight, and it's worked to this point. Mullings into Poway. Beautiful pass. Foul will send him to the line. He'll shoot 2.
And Howie's been a real bright spot. We've talked about how he hasn't been of the usual pep in his step, but watch him go up here and try and dunk in traffic.
That could be a big foul, too, because that's the 3rd on Dempster.
As Coach Menzies waves over Casey Ross Miller.
Poway 3 for 3 at the line tonight. He did everything but make it. Basket spit it out.
Yeah, and it's indicative of the night so far for the Aggies. They can't quite seem to shake this Bethune-Cookman bunch.
Left the second one short, so the Aggies lead is still 2. Bringing it up is Kennard. Man-to-man for New Mexico State. Jackson puts up a tough look, and they almost got to go. Bular there for the rebound transition opportunity, but look at him get back on defense. AC Ross Miller tries to force the issue. Bular with a slam. That's the foul.
Another good pass by Daniel Mullings from the wing. And Sim didn't bother to dribble at that time.
Malik Jackson just picked up his 3rd foul, so they've got 2 players that are key in their lineup with 3 fouls here early in the second half. And there's Jackson getting a seat on the bench after picking up number 3. He leads them with 10 points. Meanwhile, on the other end, Bullard to the line. And a little 5-0 run by NMSU, their biggest run of the night, an 8-0 run. They were down 3-0 and then jumped up to an 8-3 lead. So this is the second biggest run of the night for NMSU, and it's ongoing if they can get a stop here. Dempter's shot blocked by Bular. Mullings tapped it while standing out of bounds, and so it'll go to Bethune-Cookman. 17 on the clock, shot clock.
Well, Sim wasn't going to let us shoot over him on that one so easily. And maybe they'll change the flow of the game here. For a year and a half now, we've seen people go at Sim Bular and run back out the other side.
3 no good. Aggies in transition, 3-on-1. Mullings, and the ball's knocked out of bounds. The Aggies will get it.
You know, one of the things that Sim Bular did pretty well, Jeff, he did again there, is when he does rebound, he gets that outlet pass out there quick, and that really ignited the Aggie fast break.
I was waiting for another Sport Center top 10 dunk from Mullings, but he knocked it away from him, so he hits a 3. Bonus point.
And this nice pass from Casey Ross Miller, who threw the nice behind-back pass.
8-0 run for the Aggies, equaling their biggest run of the night. By the way, Bular's block, his 100th career block shot. NMSU has another 101 down.
Well, there's he blocked Tony Kennard's shot there, the freshman. He just sort of times it just right.
He's already 5th in career blocks at New Mexico State. Number 4, Charles Gosa. And he's 15 block shots behind Goza.
Charles Mush Gosa was a great player for the Aggies.
Elliott underneath and throws it out on perimeter wildly. Mullings over there trying to come up with it. It's off the Wildcats. Aggie basketball.
Well, Sim Bular made that happen too. This time they went up at him and threw the ball away in a bit of a panic. And the Aggies get the ball.
A little more active on defense.
Yep.
A little more transition.
Maybe a little encouragement from Coach Menzies at halftime.
Eldridge penetrates. Floater goes. 10th Aggie run.
Well, I thought he might have traveled there, but there were little steps to it.
Your monitor was my way. I couldn't see it.
Well, doesn't matter now.
Yep.
But yeah, he's really aggressive. DK Eldridge going at the basket.
DK with 10 points. KC Russ Miller for NMSU's over on the bench. Landry's running the point and has the defensive assignment on Simmons. Trap in the paint. Floater sticks. And that ends the 10-0 run.
Yeah.
So that makes it 42-34. New Mexico State with the got the crowd going with a Sim Bular dunk and some threes. And good start to the second half for the Crimson White. Against that zone, Dixon will try for three. Rebound in Poway. Right underneath, he muscles in. Aggies by 10.
Well, and again, Aggies have a totally different look without Sim in the game. Now they're quick around the basket, and I think it surprised Bethune-Cookman.
11 for Poway, 10 for Eldridge. Landry still out on the floor defending Sims here. 3 left wing, short. Rebound into Poway. Eldridge feeds it inside to Dixon. Nice post move. Get to the bucket.
Boy, is he quick. You know, you're right, though, Jeff. You suggested that before, and he may be the most polished of the Aggies down on the low post. He's the shortest of the three main inside players for the Aggies. But once again, he's just really effective.
Landry picked up the foul. And we've got a timeout on the floor. That's the first season the Aggies are back in action Wednesday night here at the Pan American Center. Prairie View A&M comes to town. And the Aggies begin a 7-game stretch, which includes Prairie View at home and a trip 3 days later to Colorado State. Then December 4th, the Lobos here. Then at Gonzaga, at Arizona, at Drake, and at New Mexico.
Serious test. But you know, a lot of people come home to Las Cruces for the holidays, and why not come out Wednesday night? Check out the New Mexico State Aggies, 5-1, maybe 6-1 by then, maybe 5-2.
Aggies on a 14-2 run. They've outscored the Wildcats 14-4 in the second half. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Little floater, good.
Michael Trapp.
He's got 7. Foul against Brown. Or is it? I saw him raise his hand. I thought he was guilty party. No foul. 4 fouls against the Wildcats, 1 against New Mexico State. I was digging into my notes and heard a whistle. No foul. Sticking with the zone is the Wildcats. Night pass threaded into Dixon. There's that left-handed hook we saw against Northern Colorado. Misses tonight. Napalway with the back.
Well, maybe this is Chili's breakout game where we get the. He was very good in El Paso, and he's been good again tonight.
$13 for Chilitzi tonight. Right now, he's the Aggies' leading scorer. And the leading scorer in the game for both teams. Trent penetrates. Floater too long. Dixon rebounds. Outlet to Eldridge. A foul stops the fast break. I think Marvin Menzies would have kind of preferred maybe the whistle not get blown there because the Aggies fixed it to get away. But instead, foul against Taylor was a smart foul because it stopped an Aggie fast break.
Well, once again, D.K. Eldridge really exploded to the basket as we see Casey Ross Miller back in the game.
And I'm not saying there wasn't contact. As Eldridge is fouled, no free throws as that's the 5th against BCU. Heading towards the 12-minute mark. The Wildcats out of the MEAC. New Mexico State out of the white. Mullings wide open. And a rebounding foul on Napalway.
Well, no, on Maurice Taylor, it seems. I don't want to overrule it on that.
No, that's good.
Another Toledo player for Bethune-Cookman.
That's his 3rd.
He doesn't look big enough to push to Napalway.
Yeah, I'm having a bad 35 seconds here. Ross Miller out front, left side to Mullings. Eldridge, who had such a good start to the game. Eldridge again on the right wing. Skips it over to Mullings. In to Dixon. Double pump. Napalway plus the foul. He's come alive.
Well, Chili Napalway is playing his way into shape, or his leg is feeling better. Watch him go get this one in a crowd between 2 Bethune-Cookman players, and he's been eating his beans and rice. I can tell you that.
But Chalitze with some emotion after the bucket. Jackson comes back in and Exiting the ball game is Elliott. That one rattles in for Chile. 16 for Chile tonight. And the Aggies have opened up a 15-point lead.
And here comes Bethune-Cookman, still early under control.
Jackson with a hook. Napao up for the rebound, and it's knocked out of bounds off of Johnson. Or that's Brown, rather. So it'll be New Mexico State basketball. Mulling cutting to the basket. His tip is good. A rebound and a bucket for Mullings. 17-point Mexico State lead.
And just Aggie's size and strength under the basket is starting to wear down this Bethune-Cookman. It's a young Bethune-Cookman team. Just one senior who plays.
21-6. The Aggies have outscored the Wildcats. Here in the second half, foul against New Mexico State. And that takes us to the under. Ross Miller, Aronis, Napao, and Dixon for New Mexico State. Napao leading all scorers tonight with 16 points. He has 8 rebounds. He's 6 of 8 from the floor as Chalitza. And Bethune-Cookman with a full shot clock gets it in. Brown left it a little short. Here comes Eldridge wanting to run. Takes inside, kick out to Aronis. And Eldridge will try a 3 from the left side, and he drops it through. 13 for DK.
Really perfect pass from Casey Ross Miller right to DK Eldridge's chest, right to his numbers. And again, just team effort by the Aggies, really impressive. Even though they came out a little heavy-legged, just through their unselfishness, I think, and hard work on the boards, they started to make a mark here.
Trap with the basket for Bethune-Cookman. Stepping in front is Jackson with the steal. Nicely done for the Wildcats. Wildcat football team in the FCS playoffs take on Coastal Carolina Saturday. They're 10-2 on the gridiron this year. Big game for them on Saturday. And driving is trapped, and he scores, and back-to-back buckets have made it a 16-point New Mexico State lead.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Jeff, and say that Bethune-Cookman will have a winning record in the conference this year. They can keep all these guys healthy. You know, they're very young. They've only got one senior out there. They're showing the power of 7th basket of it.
Yeah, he's hot. 7 of 9 from floor, 4 of 6 from the foul line, 18 points and 8 rebounds. For Napao tonight, 18-point New Mexico State lead. Wednesday night, Prairie View A&M comes to town. Foul against Napao, and that'll send Taylor to the free throw line. And then the next home game after that, December 4th, the Lobos come to town. There's a look at Napao inside defense.
So just coming down on the ball, that almost always gets called. You rarely see Simbular do that. Occasionally Sim will get that foul, but in general you want the big guys to keep their hands straight up and not to swat down on the ball.
That's the second free throw of the night for the Wildcats. Bular and Mullings in for Mexico State. Dixon and Eldridge lead. Dixon having a nice game. Ronaldo with 8 points and 6 rebounds. And the third free throw of the night good for the Wildcats. 58-42. New Mexico State with the lead. Aronis. Mullings tried to thread it in Chalitza. It was tapped over to Aronis. Little oop for Simbular from Ross Miller.
Another miss pass from Casey Ross Miller.
7 for Bular. Assist number 5 for Ross Miller. Brown.
Well, Browns having trouble hitting the rim on layups, which is directly attributable to Simbular being in the way.
Aronas rises for three. From into the Sebastopol, California. Kevin Aronas. 6'3" senior. Career high 12 points against the Lobos last year. Anchor up and good from Jackson.
Well, that was over Sim also. I'm certain it was part of the game plan. We're going to have to take it at these guys and see what happens.
Ball knocked out on the perimeter. Ross Miller keeps it in the front court. Timeout Marvin Menzies as he saw Ross Miller starting to drive. Called for a 30. 8:30 to play in the game, and Marvin Menzies will gather the team together.
I think Coach Menzies is up, but he sure seems like a good guy, Doug Martin.
President Carruthers is over in the student section right now.
Well,
do you think he's going to build a pyramid or what?
I don't know if he's going to lead them in the ways or what he's going to do over there. Yeah, I hope he's telling them not to let up on their studies going into the finals. The finals is just a couple weeks away.
You are such a taskmaster. You really are.
We have to stay on them.
There's President Carruthers in the Aggie student section greeting the students of MSU that attended the game tonight. I want to thank our student crew here on Aggie Vision, primarily tonight's game staffed by students at New Mexico State University.
They've put up with my clunkiness in the pre-recorded section of the broadcast.
Well, I attribute it.
Well, I'm going to take the blame. Instead of chilling the power to go back to the bench.
You don't like to wear your glasses on camera, huh?
Well, it's just, you know.
What glasses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Aggies by 19. Jackson got it. It's a tough shot. So Jackson spent some time in the pine here in the second half when he picked up his third foul. He has 14 points. And that leads all Wildcat scorers tonight. He's had a good game. And he's working against that zone. Mullings to penetrate, gets to the backboard and makes it up and in. Mullings has had a pretty quiet night. That's 9 for Daniel.
That's where he's so dangerous, Jeff. That's a 2-3 zone, and he drove from the top of the key for a layup. You can't do that. But well, Mullings did through his athleticism and determination.
Sorry for cutting you off. You know when he had 2 at the half, that had to change, huh?
Yeah.
Pratt for 3. For the Wildcats, 7:05 to play. Aronas for another 3. This one won't fall for him. Tipped out long to Landry, drives back in. Sim, he's fouled. He'll go to line.
But a nice pass from Landry, but again, indicative of Sim's good hands. You know, he catches that one under extreme pressure.
Yep. Bullars.
There's about 4 guys you can't see with Sim Bullard in the way.
That is so true. What a delight to have him here. He's really getting fulfilling. I went to Aggie baseball in Dallas last year, and I had somebody come up to me and say, "Tell me about Sim Bular. I've been watching the Aggie games." he's bringing some attention to the Aggie basketball program. He's 3 for 4 tonight, and Sim Bular has 8 points on 2 for 3 free throw shooting, 5 rebounds for Sim. Elliott hands it off to Trapp. He'll shoot over Bular, misses badly. Bular gives it off to Landry, and the Aggies trying to get running. Landry telling Aronas where to go. Landry, just a freshman, getting some valuable time here. Mullings. That was blocked, so he takes it up and draws a foul, and he'll shoot 2. Mullings, get into double figures. He leads the Aggies in scoring on the year at a 17.8 points per game clip. At the beginning of the night, he was 76 points away from becoming a 1,000-point scorer. So somewhere in the next 5 games or so, he will eclipse 1,000 points in the career. What a find.
Yeah, and Paul Weir, Aggie assistant coach from Toronto, seems to have a really great eye for overlook players and diamonds in the rough, and that was Mullins right from the start. You could see that he was long-armed and quick and had a great attitude.
Game we did last Wednesday against Northern Colorado. Mullings dunk on the putback the Buavats missed.
Oh, that was
number 6 in Sports Center.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't watch Sports Center. It's not Aggie vision.
And it's past your bedtime because you got to get ready for class the next day.
Right.
Simmons in pain. He dragged it. He dragged the pivot.
And that's directly attributable to Sim Bular. He's one of the few Cookman players that was early intimidated by Sim's presence there. I have to say, I'm really impressed by the Cookman coach, how well coached these guys are and how they stick to their game plan and don't get away from it.
Remy Berry's into the game. Feeds it off to Mullings. Dumps it off to Dixon. Throws it back out on the perimeter. Aggies enjoying 68-49 lead. Aronis feeds off to Berry. Berry takes it up. No good. Rebound Dixon. Dixon to Mullings. Mullings floater good.
That's vintage Daniel Mullins sort of leaning one way and had to shoot it back the other way. Great body control by Daniel Mullins.
So 18 for Napawe, 13 for Mullins, 13 for Eldridge. Those are the 3 Aggies in double figures tonight. On the other side, Trapp and Jackson have 14 points apiece for the Wildcats. 4:52 to play. Aggies 5-1 and undefeated at home. Stepping out of bounds with Simmons, and that'll be a turnover. The 9th for Bethune-Cookman. Wildcats trailed by 2 at the half. And the Aggies come out in the second half. A little more defensive pressure, a little more transition. Moved the ball just a little better and got on a run. Came out of the locker room on a 10-2 run. What a pass. And Dixon knew what to do with
it. Well, it was vintage Aggie for tonight, just sharing the ball. Mullins had a shot there, but Dixon had a better shot. So Mullins turns down the 4-footer for the layup.
That was the 16th Aggie assist of the night.
It was really impressive the way the Aggies have played together. They came out a little bit sluggish, but not through selfishness. Just Marvin Menzies is able to communicate with all of them, and it's really a credit to him. These guys are from all over the place, and he totally has their attention every time out in huddle.
Man-to-man for the Aggies. Dixon working on Dempster. Dixon rebounds the miss. 3:53 and counting to play. The Aggies up to 72-49. Aronis to Berry, baseline J. Kept alive by Dixon again. Aronis missed. Dempster had his goggles knocked
his
off.
His teammate knocked his goggles off. Not intentional.
Yes, Ronaldo. Ronaldo with such a fine post game,
and don't forget, Jeff.
Attributed so many ways.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget with Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, come see the Aggies, support the Aggies, pick the whole family. I know they're coming home from Albuquerque and Los Angeles and Dallas. Why not bring them the Aggie game on Wednesday night?
I think the Dublin's mascot had to leave and go get the Friar going just in case.
I'd say they're headed for trouble over at Dublin's.
3:20 left. Banker no good. Dumpster put back no good. Tip out to Aronis. They double him. Ball knocked out of bounds off Kevin, and it belongs to the Wildcats.
Well, Kevin Aronis sort of dribbled into trouble there. He might have got fouled on that one. Looks he doesn't make many mistakes like that.
That was the Aggies' 11th turnover. Aggies had, 8 at the half, 9 at the half, something like that?
Yeah.
So a very good second half at taking care of the basketball. 2:49 to play. 13 a shot clock.
Yeah, completely different game, Jeff. Aggies really came out and wore Bethune-Cookman down.
traveling called Kennard. And for Bethune-Cookman, turnover number 12.
It's going to be long. Might be a long road trip for Kennard. He's a freshman. It's going to be difficult for any freshman to play a bunch of road games in a row. His first time out.
Yeah, they're at Colorado State next. Then they get a home game and go on the road for a long stretch after that. Landry working on the freshman. Freshman versus freshman. Vuovac for 3.
It's his first one of the year, and he came with a big reputation as a shooter. Maybe this will help him get on track.
Career high of 8 last year. Average 9 points per game last summer, playing for the Croatian under-20 European team. And that's a banker good. And that is Leek Jackson.
Taking it right back to Mate.
Okay, over to Coach Menzies.
He's saying you can't just shoot threes, you got to guard them too.
6'7" guy, good length on perimeter.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player.
Second, the free throw good, 75-52 New Mexico State, a minute 57 to play. And a timeout taken by the Wildcats here. And the
I think that's apparent.
It's not unusual for somebody to have a favorite.
Well, I think it's I wrote about Simbular in Slam Magazine, the national magazine with a circulation of over 500,000 subscribers.
Is that online somewhere?
That's online, and it's in stores everywhere.
Well, I want to go read it now.
Yeah, it got a lot of attention. It's called The Bigger Cactus. Shaq's nickname used to be The Big Cactus. It's not my name for the article, but it came out really great. Totally positive attention for the Aggies on the national stage. And for the author, too.
Well, good for you. And good for Sim. And what a guy to have here on campus. Certainly is bringing attention. I told him my travels with the baseball team. I get asked about him. There's Aronis up there.
Aronis makes up for the little turnover before. But, yeah, the Simbar piece is online, Slam online. If you just Googled Simbar Slam Magazine or the Bigger Cactus Slam Magazine, you could come up with that piece. That was just a long one.
That was just a 2 for Aronis. Dempster rebounds, foul, will send it. Well, I don't know if he'll shoot free throws or not because the Aggies aren't over the limit.
Well, one of the things that the article talked about, Jeff, was in the age of Mike Rice and the Rutgers coach and cursing at the players and that kind of thing. And here's Marvin Menzies, who's able to talk without screaming and cursing and getting technical fouls. And he's on an international team. I mean, he could yell at them, they might not understand. He's figured out a way pretty quickly in his young career how to get through to the Aggies. They pretty much a fit to be in the NCAA tournament every year he's been here.
So if you want to wonder how his players feel about him, Sim's brother came to play for the Aggies as well. And he could have gone to a lot of places.
That's right.
At 7'3", he was a commodity himself.
Yeah, I think it speaks well of Marvin. Of course, Paul Weir did a great job recruiting those guys, but when the older brother can say, when the big brother can say, come on to New Mexico State with me, I really like it here, it's a good sign.
There's Marvin Menzies with John Landry. Paul Weir just off to his left, who does a lot of the recruiting, and what a job he's done.
And there's no screaming and cursing and pointing fingers in his face. He's able to motivate these guys with sort of a softer, more intelligent touch.
Ball knocked out of bounds as Harry was taking it up, down to 33 seconds to play, and 3 points away from wings, and I'm hearing a little wing chant kind of break up. Free throws. Aggies 15 of 20 at the foul line, while Bethune-Cookman went 3 of 4 from the foul line. 10th foul against Bethune-Cookman, and fouling out of the game is Elliott. Elliott leaves with 4 points.
Well, he started off good.
Bethune-Cookman started out good. Remy Berry at the free throw line. There's some wins out there for the Wildcats this year.
I think there might not be too many on this trip. It's a brutal schedule they have.
They do have one home game sandwiched in there against Prairie UA&M. But yeah, at Northern Colorado, at Colorado State, at Stetson, at Norfolk State, at Hampton, at Akron, at Youngstown State, at North Florida, at. That's a tough way to live. Aggies 1 point away from sending their fans for 10-cent wings at Dublin. So the fans getting into it.
Well, let's see what happens.
16 seconds play, 79-54. And New Mexico State with the lead. Scoop no good. Rebound to Dempster, and he scores. And then the fans yelling, shoot, shoot, shoot to Trevon Landry.
They want some wings.
He dribbles it out. That'll do it. The final score, New Mexico State 79. Bethune-Cookman 56.